It's Sunday, February 28th, 2021. I just checked the futures market. Dow Jones up 240 points. Gold is up $12.50. Silver up 41 cents. Oil up $1.38. Tomorrow should be a very, very interesting day. We're probably going to see the Fed ramping things up and getting very involved here. They're going to have to buy a lot more bonds, as we just saw the 10-year yield at 1.6% a couple days ago. This evening, it's sitting at 1.41%. And this is not good for home sales. It's not good for auto sales. It's just not going to be good for this economy if they do not get this 10-year under control. But I'm sure that we're going to see the Fed come in this week and start buying all this up because they are the buyer and lender of last resort. I was reading a couple articles this weekend, and this one comes from the Hedge. New home sales surge in January as mortgage apps crash to 9-month lows. Mortgage apps have dropped 5 of the last 6 weeks. 21% of new homes sold in January cost more than $500,000. You know, they've got to keep rates low. Their worst nightmare is watching the 10-year yield start to get out of control because people at this point, I don't think even look at the price of things anymore. I don't even know if they even look at the price of a home or the price of an automobile. They're looking at the monthly payment. How much is that monthly mortgage going to be? And can I afford it on that house, on that automobile? This is why we're seeing auto loans going 8 years, even 9 years, stretching these payments out, low interest rates. Same thing in housing. We're seeing ultra low, record low interest rates, and this is keeping this whole scam going. And sooner or later, we're going to see big problems in housing and big problems in auto sales. It's all coming, ladies and gentlemen. If these rates get out of control and people can't make that monthly payment on the car or the house, they're just not going to buy, right? So we're watching people buying $500,000 homes, $600,000 homes, $700,000 homes. And what's enabling them to do that are these ultra low rates. If these rates creep up, there's going to be a breaking point where they're just not going to be able to buy these type of houses. And my big concern is the job market. We are bleeding jobs every week. And it's almost unbelievable to even think that we're seeing this housing bubble take place when we have one of, if not the worst economies in U.S. history. And we're looking at 40 million people unemployed, 900,000 jobs a week disappearing. It just kind of boggles the mind to even think that there's a housing boom out there. But, you know, again, they can manipulate numbers. They're counting sales with people refining their homes. That's being counted as a sale. But at some point, this is all going to come to a very, very drastic and ugly ending, in my opinion. House relief bill extends unemployment benefits by 5 months, pays extra $400 a week. So maybe this will keep the housing market going. Maybe you won't even need a job because here in California, if you get $450 a week in unemployment and they give you another $400, you're making $850 a week. So I guess you can make the mortgage payment. The House passed a $1.9 trillion relief bill, the American Rescue Plan Act, early this weekend on Saturday. The stimulus bill expands unemployment benefits to August 29th and increases aid by $400 a week. You know, this is totally the twilight zone. The pandemic relief measure now heads to the Senate. I think it's going to probably come to a dead end when it hits the Senate. But, you know, just think about this, though. $400 additional a week plus unemployment. Yet nobody's talking about how this is going to end. Where's the opportunity? Where's the jobs? Where's the growth? How we're going to pay this debt back? We just continue to create money out of thin air. And, you know, this debt tsunami continues to get bigger and bigger. And when this thing hits, you know, back in '08, this was a 100-foot wave. Now, here in 2021, this tsunami is 1,000 feet high. It's going to be harder hitting. And it is going to drag so many people out to sea who are never coming back to land. They're going to be done. The impact of this thing is going to be absolutely enormous. It's going to be devastating. Please be preparing. The Hedge. Brace for rampant inflation. Hedge fund billionaire stunned at market craziness. Sees trouble ahead. This is Paul Singer from Elliott Management. He warned all of us back in 2012 when he said that he saw trouble ahead and braced for rampant inflation. Nobody, he says, in America has actually seen, or most people probably can't even contemplate what an actual loss of confidence may look like. And he is going to be proven 100% right. Just imagine when people lose confidence in the US dollar. Well, imagine when they lose confidence in the stock market. Just imagine when they lose confidence with the future of America, and when the world loses confidence in America. And they're beginning to do that right now. People are not getting help. They're not getting jobs. We're seeing inflation ticking up every day. I just saw gas today over $4 in my area at Chevron, over $5 in LA. And people are going to begin to lose confidence in the system, and they're doing that. And this is why we're seeing so many people running into gold, running into silver, running to cash, running to cryptos, and what have you, because they are losing confidence in the system. Went to another bank just the other day, a Bank of America ATM shut down. I see more banks closed up, and you know, it's amazing to see how many banks are closed on Saturdays. I remember most banks were open on Saturdays. Now they're all closed. But many of you continue to write me and tell me the same thing, that ATMs are shut down, banks are closed, and many of these banks are closed permanently. So a lot happening. So, you know, we just talk about how the dollar is buying less and less. We talk about how to protect wealth. You must own assets. Gold, silver, land. This is what the big guys are doing. How much energy, water, and food will the money created out of thin air in the future buy? Think about that. How much food is that dollar going to buy? How much energy will that buy? I can tell you this. If we look at what happened in Zimbabwe, what's happening in Venezuela, paper money absolutely obliterated, but yet gold and silver still has buying power. Ask yourself, how will debts get paid back if money has no value? And this is why I'm a firm believer, an advocate, that people must own gold. They must own silver. I'm not giving anybody financial advice, but this is what I'm doing. I ordered a decent amount of gold and silver a few days ago from SD Bullion. People reach out to me daily for a recommendation, a good safe place to buy. SD Bullion, I have a link down below. So if you're thinking about buying gold or silver, go to that link. They'll take very good care of you. They're a very, very good company, a legitimate company, one of the biggest, and very competitive prices. And so I made an order there a few days ago. And it's probably going to be 30 days before I even take delivery, probably 30 days. This is because people are beginning to see what's going on, and they are losing confidence in the system. And you know, a lot of people out there go, oh, you know, what are you going to do with that gold and silver when things get bad? What are you going to do with your fiat currency? What are you going to do with your paper dollars? I will take my chances with gold and silver, ladies and gentlemen. A money, a real money that has a history of 5,000 years. God's money. It's not going anywhere. It will be here for the next 5,000 years. Can you say that about a fiat currency? No, you cannot. Can you say that about the US dollar? No, you cannot. I mean, just take a look. A candy bar today at the grocery store, $1.55. I can take a mercury dime right now and buy that candy bar and then some. So that mercury dime, that little dime, let's just say back in 1942, buys the same candy bar today that it did back then. Your dollar does not do that. So, we can't even really measure the value of gold and silver in dollars, because if things get really, really bad, would you trade your ounce of gold or your ounce of silver for some dollar bills that are worthless? No, you would not. You would be trading them for other assets, properties, land, houses, an automobile, other assets, jewelry, but not a fiat currency that is going to zero. And when I look at the dollar and the purchasing power that it has right now compared to, say, maybe 1970, wow. I mean, it has been absolutely decimated. Yet, that gold and that silver still has the same buying power, purchasing power that it did back in 1970, as it did, and the same purchasing power it did 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Wolfstreet.com. Just don't expect pent-up demand from consumers. It's a good article. If you get a chance, check it out. I'll kind of paraphrase through this one. Back in January, income from unemployment benefits, stimulus checks, and other government support payments exploded to $2.9 trillion. Income from wages and salaries was $9.7 trillion. So, I mean, look at how this economy is being propped up by the U.S. government and the Fed. If we did not have stimulus checks, if we did not have all this government subsidies, if we did not have unemployment, we would be critical right now. We would be probably dead on arrival. And that's inevitable. We are heading that way. They are just keeping the patient alive at this point. But income from wages and salaries was $9.7 trillion in January. And you look at income from unemployment, government support, and stimulus checks, $2.9 trillion. Let me tell you, this economy and this country is on life support, ladies and gentlemen. Millions didn't even make a mortgage payment in the last 12 months. Federal student loans were automatically entered in foreclosure programs. Eviction bans have allowed households not to pay rent, but they've been allowed to go out and go to Target and Best Buy and Walmart and buy goods and services. And so reality is going to be very, very ugly here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's coming, because sooner or later, and I believe much sooner than later, this is all going to come to an end, and people are going to really be in a world of hurt. During the crisis, there was a huge boom across the financial market, and those with assets felt a lot richer, spending more because they felt richer. So people went out and spent more because, they look on the computer, they look at the 401ks, they look at the money markets, they look at their stocks and bonds, and so they feel rich because they're rich on paper, and so they're going out and spending more. We also saw cash out of refinancing driven by record low rates and surging home prices, which turned houses once again back into ATMs. And once again, these counted as home sales. I wonder if we counted all the people that refied their homes, and if we took into account large investment companies and hedge funds that went in and bought a lot of this real estate, I wonder how much of this real estate market, how much of it was real sales by real Americans, not investment companies, not hedge funds, and not refis. But I wonder how many of these sales were done by the average American. The average American making $34,000 a year when the average home price is $360,000 a year. Consumers have been flooded with money that they didn't even work for. And I think that this makes people very, very complacent when they're in moratoriums, when they're in forbearances, and when they're getting free money. And I think people are really going to drop their guard here, believing that this is going to go on much longer, maybe forever, right? People think that this is just going to go on forever. They can stay at home. They're not going to work. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have to make a mortgage payment. What happens when this ends? Not if. It's going to end, ladies and gentlemen. And reality is coming for millions of people. The piper is going to get paid, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where you're going to see a massive wealth transfer, a historic wealth transfer here, when these people get booted out of the apartments and the condos and the houses, and the bankers come in and they gobble it all up. When the hedge funds come in and gobble it all up. The free money is going to fade. And when this happens, how will they spend this money that they've been spending for the past year when they don't have it? When there's nothing left to spend, the stimulus comes to an end, the unemployment comes to an end. Now all of a sudden, you got to pay rent. You got to make up for that, for those 6 months of missed mortgage payments, etc. What's going to happen when people have nothing left to spend? When their life savings is wiped out, when stimulus is wiped out, when unemployment is wiped out, then people are going to get wiped out. What's going to happen when the home no longer acts as an ATM? And that's a question millions of people are going to have to ask themselves. So I want to finish up with one last article here. It's titled "Eviction Moratorium Ruled Unconstitutional. Largest Tsunami of Evictions in U.S. History Incoming." Judge Campbell Baker issued a 21-page ruling this past Thursday, and he found it unconstitutional. The federal moratorium, ladies and gentlemen, is on borrowed time. Some states have their own moratorium in place, so renters in these states will still have some protection moving forward. But for most of the country, things are about to change in a major way. 10 to 12 million households. I've seen different articles give different numbers, but it's huge. 10, 12 million households are currently behind in rent. Millions of evictions are going to take place this year, 2021. Look, I'm just gonna say this before I end this video. I hope most of you watched my videos from LA, and when you see the desperation, when you see how the system has failed so many people, and how it's continuing to fail people. If you're one of these people who believes that the system is going to help you, if you believe that the financial institution is going to help you, the bank's going to help you, the government's going to help you, you are delusional. The system is melting down. The system is broken. And just watch my past Los Angeles videos. The crumbling infrastructure, people walking around like zombies, no help, forgotten. It's really a sad state of affairs, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to get much, much worse. And if you're one of these people who believes that things are just going to get better by the waving of a magic wand or the flip of a switch, you're delusional. If you believe and trust these institutions that they have your best interests at heart, you're delusional. Right now, you have got to be preparing for impact. You've got to be preparing for the worst economic collapse history has ever seen. Nobody's going to be there to help you. We're coming to a point where everybody now has to think for themselves. You got to have a strategy. If you believe that the stock market is going to go up forever, if you believe that the U.S. dollar is going to be the world reserve currency 10 years from now, if you believe that the banking institution is safe and sound, you're delusional. The banks are in trouble. The U.S. dollar is in trouble. The whole system is in trouble. And you need to be preparing for big trouble, because this thing is going to hit extremely hard. It's going to be devastating, and it's going to last a very, very long time. We are watching a slow death of this economy, but we're going to wake up one day and we're going to see the entire bottom of this economy, the stock market and the real estate market fall out, and it's going to be in free fall, and people are not going to know what to do. It's going to be a 1,000-foot tsunami, and it's gonna sweep a lot of people out to sea, and they're not coming back. Don't be a victim of this economic tsunami. Prepare. I truly believe that a lot of people are going to prosper and a lot of people are going to become very, very wealthy during this period. It's not all doom and gloom. It's all not negativity. Take advantage of it. This is going to be your chance in life to really, really succeed, really prosper. And it's sad that so many people are going to lose. They're going to be on the wrong end of this, but they're at the party right now. They're dancing to the music while the ship is taking on water. And so I can't feel sorry for people that are ignoring the danger signs, and you shouldn't either. What you need to be doing is preparing so that you prosper, protect yourself, protect your wealth, and protect your family during these times. I think we're going to come to a point in America where it's not how much you're holding, but what you're holding. People say, "Oh, I own all, stocks in this, and I own bonds, and I'm holding all this cash." But what happens when that's worth zero? The only thing that's going to matter at that point is ounces of gold, ounces of silver, land, real estate, not finance real estate that's bought and paid for. People holding all this debt and all this fiat currency and all this paper, I think are going to be the big losers here, ladies and gentlemen. The people holding real things, real money, will be the winners. Like I said, you're not going to trade an ounce of gold or silver for some paper currency that's worthless. You're going to want to trade it for something real. So I think we need to stop counting our dollars and start counting our ounces. That's who is going to survive this collapse. History continues to rhyme and repeat. And it's going to be no different this time, except this time, this whole thing is going to be on steroids. I think that the devastation is going to be the worst that we've ever seen. And I believe that the amount of wealth created during this time is going to be unlike we've ever seen also. So we're going to see some very extreme times. I'm going to leave it there. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Make sure you get out, get yourself some gold and some silver, and make sure you're getting your debts paid down. This thing is getting close, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look, these markets will probably be up tomorrow. They are going to pump and pump and pump a lot of cash into these markets to keep this whole thing going. But they can print all they want, but reality is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It is not going to be stopped. And sooner or later, the medicine is not going to work. And that day is getting very close. Prepare.